Welcome back to Crime Never Forgiven, where we uncover the darkest corners of justice, corruption, and power. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you never miss a story, and leave a comment. We read every single one. Today we're diving into a case that shook India and the world not with blood or bullets, but with invisible digital chains. A scandal that exposed how even our most private conversations could be spied on by powerful forces behind closed doors. This is the real story of the Pegasus Spyware Scandal, the silent war waged on phones, privacy, and democracy itself. It all started in July 2021 when a bombshell investigation broke across the globe. Led by Forbidden Stories, a Paris-based media nonprofit, and supported by Amnesty International, over 17 global news outlets, including The Guardian, Le Monde, Spiegel, and India's own The Wire and Frontline, uncovered a shocking truth. They had obtained a leaked list of more than 50,000 phone numbers targets of surveillance using a highly sophisticated spyware called Pegasus, developed by an Israeli cyber intelligence firm known as the NSO Group. And among those thousands of numbers, over 300 Indian phone numbers belonging to journalists, activists, lawyers, opposition leaders, and even ministers from both sides of the political spectrum. These weren't just random names. We're talking about some of the most influential people in India, voices that hold power accountable, challenge authority, and speak truth to power. Names like Ravish Kumar, senior journalist of NDTV, Siddharth Varadarajan, co-founder of The Wire and former editor of The Hindu, Supreme Court lawyer Indira Jaising, and even members of parliament from opposition parties. Some of these individuals were already under government scrutiny. Others were simply doing their jobs, reporting, questioning, exposing. But now there was evidence that their phones were possibly hacked, giving someone access to everything. Messages, calls, emails, location, even turning on the microphone without the user knowing. Let's take a step back and understand what Pegasus actually is. Developed by the NSO Group, based in Israel, Pegasus is one of the most advanced pieces of state-sponsored spyware in the world. It's designed to infiltrate smartphones, both iOS and Android, and give its operator full access to everything on the device. And it does this without the user ever noticing. No suspicious links needed, no phishing. In many cases, all it took was a missed call via WhatsApp, and the malware would install itself silently in the background. Once inside, it could record calls, access messages, track GPS location, turn on the camera and microphone. Read Encrypted Communications NSO Group claims that Pegasus is only sold to government agencies for use against terrorists and criminals. But clearly, something had gone terribly wrong. In 2019, WhatsApp had sued NSO Group in the US, accusing them of hacking into 1,400 users, including diplomats and journalists, through a vulnerability in WhatsApp calling. And now in 2021, the world was staring at another massive breach, this time far larger and more alarming. Let's talk about the people involved in India. Among the most prominent names was Ravish Kumar, one of India's most respected journalists, known for his hard-hitting primetime shows on NDTV. His name appeared multiple times in the leaked list, suggesting repeated attempts to hack him. Then there was Siddharth Varadarajan, former editor of The Hindu and co-founder of The Wire. He too was listed, raising serious concerns about press freedom in India. Senior advocate Indira Jaising, who has argued landmark cases before the Supreme Court, was also on the list. Her work often challenged the government on issues like women's rights and judicial independence. Even politicians from the ruling party weren't spared. Several BJP MPs' numbers were found on the list, showing that this wasn't just about silencing opposition, but about control, monitoring, and perhaps even blackmail. But the most chilling part? Many of these people didn't even know they were being targeted until the leak came out. And the question everyone asked was, if these people were targeted, how many others weren't on the list? How deep did this go? When the allegations first surfaced, the Indian government's response was swift and predictable. Officials denied any involvement, calling the reports motivated and politically driven. They accused foreign entities of trying to destabilize India. But the pressure was immense. The public outcry was growing. Civil society demanded answers. So the government ordered an internal probe led by a technical committee under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MITI. But here's the problem. The panel was made up of government officials. There was no independent oversight, no third-party experts, no transparency. And when the report finally came out months later, it said, there was no conclusive evidence that any Indian phone had been compromised by Pegasus. Naturally, this only fueled more suspicion. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court got involved. A batch of petitions was filed challenging the government's silence and demanding a free and fair investigation. The Apex Court eventually directed the government to form an independent expert committee to look into the matter, but the process dragged on for years. As of today, there's still no final verdict, no arrests, no accountability, just silence. This wasn't just an Indian issue. The Pegasus project sent shockwaves globally. France's President Emmanuel Macron was reportedly among the targets. So were several heads of state in the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. The U.S. responded by banning NSO Group from doing business with American companies, citing human rights violations. The European Parliament launched an inquiry. The UN called it a threat to global democracy, and yet NSO Group remained defiant. They claimed they had no control over how their clients used the software and that they vetted customers carefully. Critics say that's a lie, because if that were true, why would journalists, lawyers, and human rights defenders be on the target list? Scandal revealed a dangerous truth. In the digital age, surveillance is not just a tool of national security, it's a weapon of repression. And governments around the world are using it quietly, invisibly, and without consequence. The Pegasus scandal forced India and the world to confront a harsh reality. Our digital privacy is not safe. Phones that once felt like personal extensions of ourselves became potential spying tools in the hands of the state. People began asking questions. Shouldn't there be stricter laws around surveillance? Who oversees intelligence agencies? Can citizens trust their own government? Activists and journalists started adopting extreme digital hygiene practices, changing phones regularly, using encrypted apps, avoiding cloud backups. Some even stopped carrying smartphones altogether. And yet the fear remains because if Pegasus can get in, what else can? The scandal also reignited the debate around India's outdated surveillance laws, especially the Indian Telegraph Act, which allows interception of communication under vague national security grounds with almost no judicial oversight. While the world moved on, the victims of Pegasus didn't. Their lives changed forever. Trust was broken, fear replaced confidence, and for many, the line between citizen and suspect blurred beyond recognition. So what's next? Well, the fight isn't over. In India, civil society continues to push for stronger data protection laws. A draft digital personal data protection bill has been introduced, but critics argue it still gives too much power to the government. Globally, tech companies are stepping up their game. Apple, Google, and WhatsApp have improved encryption and released patches to protect against zero-click attacks. But the battle for digital privacy is far from won. Because as long as there's power, there will be those who want to control it and those who will try to watch us while we do. The Pegasus scandal taught us one thing. Crime doesn't always come with a gun. Sometimes it comes with a message, a call, a click. And sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Thank you for watching this episode of Crime Never Forgiven. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, please hit that like button, share it with your friends, and let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications because next week we'll be covering another explosive story that will blow your mind. Until then, stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, crime may hide in shadows, but we never stop looking.